My name is Hannah, and this is my no-buy year. I'm filming a tag video. I almost never do that. I think I've only ever filmed one tag video before. I see them come and go, and it's only lately that tag videos have been coming up that have really been making me want to film them. So we'll see how this one goes. If it's good, I'll try to do more. This tag was created by Hannah at SMOKEY Glow. I actually just started watching her over the past couple of weeks as a result of this tag. This awesome tag, by the way. It's such a good tag. I feel like every single video that has been filmed in response to this tag has been so interesting, so good. But it makes total sense. Hannah is incredibly intelligent, sensitive, perceptive. She has a very good understanding of human nature. She is really, really funny and interesting to watch. So it makes sense that a tag that she would come up with would be one that would result in a bunch of really interesting videos from a bunch of different kinds of people. I will link Hannah's channel down below. I have absolutely loved getting to know her over the past couple of weeks by watching some of her videos, and I think that you will too. It's a long tag, 14 questions. Let's go ahead and get right into the meat of this video. Question 1, how many years have you been on YouTube? I have been on YouTube for less than a year. I started this channel pretty much in conjunction with my no-buy year project. So the no-buy started on January 1st of 2018, and I think I founded my channel, like I opened my account on about the 5th or the 6th, and I believe I managed to get the first video posted about halfway through the month of January. So that is 10 months. I've been on YouTube for 10 months. Second question, what was your very first video about? My very first video was my introduction video for my no-buy year project. So I talked about what I am doing this year, why I'm doing it, why I'm putting it up here on YouTube, and what all of my specific rules are for my no-buy year. I think a lot of you have probably seen that already, because I'm getting the sense that when people first subscribe to my channel, they often go back and watch that initial video to kind of get a sense of the shape of the project. Question number 3, who is your dream collab? So easy. Kimberly Clark. Kimberly Clark, you guys. She's a drag queen. She's an anti-consumerist channel. She is basically my soul sister. I mean, I'm getting ahead of myself because this question comes later, but I basically started my YouTube channel so that I might one day have a chance of being friends with Kimberly Clark. I was like, she's a drag queen and she's a YouTuber. I can't be a drag queen, but I can be a YouTuber, and maybe that will up my chances. Kimberly Clark was a huge inspiration for me in starting my YouTube channel. Not really particularly because of the anti-consumerist stuff, although that was very nourishing to watch, and I absolutely love her channel partly for that reason. It was more the fact that she talks in a really elevated and intelligent way about consumerism and about makeup in general, and just about everything, about beauty. And she very easily intermingles concerns about beauty and interest in the world of beauty with concerns about larger social issues. And she's really good at taking issues that are frequently intellectualized kind of beyond the point of recognition and making them consumable, communicating them in a way that is relatable and that is very clear. And that's something that I'm trying to do on my channel too. So seeing her do it and seeing her kind of talk, she kind of is the first person I ever saw on YouTube who talks sort of the way I talk. And I've come across more people since then who do, but I remember when I first started watching Kimberly Clark and I was really, really into her, and I shared her channel with a friend. My friend watched one video and she was like, she talks exactly like you. She was like, Hannah, if you've ever wanted to know what you sound like when you talk, this is it. And I didn't really know that. It helped to have my friend say that to me, because I didn't really know how I talk until I started editing my own YouTube videos. That's a really interesting thing about being on YouTube. You watch yourself talk for hours and hours while you're editing. But now I see what my friend was talking about, and now I also understand that that's another level on which Kimberly Clark really inspired me. It would be the true dream of my life. I would just live and die and live again if I could even talk with Kimberly, like even be connected with her, let alone do a collab video. All right, question number 4. What would it mean to you to make it on YouTube? I'm a practical person in some ways, so there is the first answer that springs to mind to this question, which is that if I ever got to a point where ad revenue from YouTube or any kind of revenue from YouTube could be my main source of income, then I would truly feel like I had made it as a YouTuber. But that's kind of just the obvious definition. I feel like the most obvious definition of having made it on YouTube is that it's your main job and you can afford to quit all of your other jobs and do it full time. I don't see that in my future. I don't really anticipate that happening, in large part because of the nature of the work I'm doing here. I think people make it on YouTube because they become cogs in the consumerist machine, and so they earn from that. And that keeps them well-oiled. It keeps them part of the machine. I'm never going to be a cog in the consumerist machine. That's not what I'm here for. If anything, I'm trying to be like a monkey wrench in the consumerist machine, and I just don't think that people get paid all that well for that. I'm making a little bit of money from YouTube, a very little bit right now, just because I have subscribers and I get views. But to truly make it like that, I think you really have to be plugged into the corporations in a way that I don't plan to ever be. So I think partly because I don't ever plan on making it in that way, that is not my personal definition of making it on YouTube, because I like to do things whole. You know, I don't like to sort of half-ass things or start it without really the intention of following through. And so I'm hoping that I will make it on YouTube, if that makes sense. But as I just said, I don't anticipate making it in that way. So that must mean that I have kind of another vision, another definition of making it. And I think to me, it's just reaching a lot of people. And I already feel like that's happening. I'm flabbergasted by the number of people who are watching me on this platform. I feel already like I've made it in that way a little bit. I'm able to connect with way more people than I anticipated connecting with by November of my first year on YouTube. And I do want to talk a little bit more about why connecting with people and kind of having a platform is important to me, but I know that it's relevant to another question later on, so I'm actually going to save it for question 7. But those are my 2 answers. Part of me feels like making it on YouTube has to do with making enough money to live off of YouTube, and the other part of me feels like I've already made it on YouTube because I'm here, I'm doing it, and you guys are here, and that is all I've ever wanted. All right, question 5. What is your end goal on YouTube? This might be a little bit, I've been thinking about this one. I thought about it earlier today because I was like, I need to find a way to actually explain this part of my end goal on YouTube that I've never really talked about. So I hope I'll do it justice. I don't think I've ever quite said this or said it this way on my channel before, but the most important thing to me in my life is the art of poetry, poems. I was born into a body, or my spirit, or whatever it is. Poetry is my everything. And from the time that I could read, when I was 3 years old, I was reading Emily Dickinson. I was memorizing the poems I was reading, and I was utterly obsessed. And it was when I was just 6 or 7 years old that I woke up one morning and I was like, I'm going to be a poet. That is my life's calling. And I started composing poetry at that age. Not particularly brilliant poetry, but I just knew that it was my calling. Like people get called to the priesthood or something. That is truly how it has always felt to me from childhood. Apprenticeship. That is what I've been doing. And I haven't let that really intense calling keep me from engaging in other aspects of life. So I've also become a tango dancer. I've also had love affairs. I've had relationships. I've also gotten really into beauty. I watch YouTube. I've also written other things besides poetry. I'm an essayist as well. So it's not a singular focus for me. I'm allowing myself to live a robust life and to live broadly as well as deeply, because I feel like that gives me the best chance at writing important poetry. because I feel like you have to live in the world in order to be able to write about the world. But when I am honest with myself, and if I'm being honest with you guys right now, if I look at my life, if I look at what's important to me, my end goal in my life is to be a champion of poetry. And so even though I started this channel because of my No Buy year, and I am being fulfilled in ways I did not anticipate by speaking about beauty and connecting with you guys about beauty and about anti-consumerism, essentially lifestyle choices. My secret hope, my greatest hope, is that I might also be able to help you connect to poetry in your individual lives. I can't believe I'm crying about this. I mean, I do believe I'm crying about this, but I didn't expect to. This year my channel has been all about my no buy year, and so there hasn't really been room for any kind of offshoot content. And rest assured, I'm not going to suddenly become a poetry channel or something, but I do hope that as I continue on this platform, when I read poems or when I read books of poetry that I really love, I might be able to share those with you. The few moments on this channel where I have said, here's a poem I really love, or here's a poet I really love, have been the most important to me, the most meaningful, even though they seem to be throwaway moments. To me, it's weirdly kind of what I'm here for. And then I am incredibly touched when I publish some of my own work and some of you guys go read it. That to me feels like a kind of coming full circle. It's like I'm connecting to you through this platform, and then I'm also connecting you to poetry, and hoping that that ancient art form, that ancient source of wisdom, can feed you in the way that it has always fed me. And it's not my only goal, like it's not my only end goal. Now that I've been on this platform, I understand that everything I'm already doing is what I'm here to do. And in some ways, those goals are already being accomplished. But when I think about my future as a person with a YouTube channel, my dearest hope, among many other hopes, my single dearest hope is that I can use this platform to be the champion of poetry that I believe I was put on this earth to be. Okay, next question, question 6. What is the hardest part about being on YouTube? The hardest part for me about being on YouTube is the feeling of exposure and the shame that comes along with that. And it's just my personality. It's my introvert. So I'm an introvert, and I'm also an Enneagram 4. I don't know how many of you guys have studied the Enneagram, but the 4 personality of the Enneagram has shame as its kind of core issue. So almost always when I feel bad, it takes the form of shame. And it is really difficult for an introverted and shame-centered person to speak her truth like this, like I have been doing this year. I've been really honest about my struggles with shopping, which is something that's so shameful to me. And even being honest about something like what I just told you about how important poetics are to me and how I hope to somehow be able to bring that to more people through any platform I can. Even sharing that makes me feel a little bit sick later. So what will often happen is that I'll come on here, I'll do this thing that I feel glad to do and driven to do and very alive when I'm doing it. And then afterwards, I will feel a little bit sick. I will feel a kind of shame or fear that the thing that I'm offering is not right or not enough, or that I haven't been clear enough, or that people are going to judge me, which they are. Of course they are. You guys are. Everyone is. And part of me has made peace with that long ago in my life because I'm judged everywhere I go, and not always kindly. But that doesn't keep those feelings of exposure at bay. They're just always there. They're not my constant companion. They just come up from time to time. A lot of times after I film a video, I'll feel like I didn't do the subject justice. And then when I go through and edit the video, I'll find out that I actually did okay. And then I'll start to feel better about it. But sometimes I will edit the video, feel kind of okay about it. And then when I go to post it, I'll feel these feelings of exposure, just kind of like, so many people seeing me, so many people hearing me. That is just hard. It's a hard experience for the human mind. And it's something that's kind of new because of technology. And so in some ways, I wonder if we're not even evolved in a way that makes us capable of handling it all that well. And to be clear, I do not at any point wish that I wasn't doing it. Like, there aren't times when I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad. I hate this. I don't want to be on YouTube. I never have those feelings. I love doing this. I love having a YouTube channel. And so those bad feelings aren't so bad that they like cancel out all that's good about it. It's just, I think, kind of a multifaceted and sort of a deep thing to be up here in front of so many people. And so I can't help but have a kind of complicated, like, stress reaction to it. And that's kind of what it is. It's like I have positive stress and negative stress all about the same situation. My experience, though, is that everything worthwhile in life causes that reaction. All of the best stuff comes along with nerves and fear and doubt, and that means that you're on the right track. You know, I think that if I felt like this was absolutely just effortless and there was nothing complicated about my feelings, then maybe I wouldn't be digging deep enough to offer something meaningful on my platform. So it's not all bad, that thing, but it's definitely the hardest part. Question 7, what is the best part about YouTube? So this is the question that is kind of a continuation of the question about what it would mean to make it for me. And it's also kind of a continuation of the question about the end goal, because to me, it's kind of all wrapped up in the same issue. I was talking about how I've always been a poet and a lover of poetry. And even more than that, or kind of like the larger setting into which that truth is set, is that I have always been a writer. I am a writer. That is my main identity. That is my main gig. And what that means to me is that I'm designed to absorb human experience and then translate it through words into something that other people can receive and understand and use. And so that's what I do when I'm writing. I'm taking what I see, what I feel, what I learn, what I think, and I'm reprocessing it and remaking it with words as my medium in order that it might deliver something to readers that they need. And in a funny way, I feel like that's also what this job is. That's what my job is on YouTube. Like, that's what I've been doing all year. It's a little bit messier than writing because I don't get to rewrite every sentence until it's perfect. It's a little bit more nerve-wracking than writing because you're seeing my face and my gestures and hearing me speak extemporaneously. And so I don't have as much control over what people see as I do when I write a poem, for example, and I can edit it and perfect it and clean it up and rewrite it, and then people just see those 12 lines, you know. Up here, it's not like that. It's just a mess of me talking and being myself, and I can't be anything other than myself, and that's terrifying. It's a little bit less perfect than the art of writing. But the work here that I'm doing at its core is the same work that I'm doing when I'm writing. And in that way, this is what I am designed to do down to my very bones. And when I say to you guys at the end of the video every time to take extra good care of yourself so that you can be the most effective version of yourself when you do your work in the world, I've put that language in there because to me, doing my work in the world is what matters the most. And this is my work. It's taken me a while to figure that out, right? And when I say this, what I mean is the aforementioned processing of life experience into language and then delivering it to people who might be able to gain something from it. You guys have helped me figure it out. It's your comments, your responses to what I'm doing. When you guys say in your comments, you are articulating something that's true about me that I've never been able to articulate. That's a comment that I get a lot. People are often saying, thank you so much. You explained it so well. You explained myself to me. You helped me see myself more clearly. You helped me see my life more clearly. Those comments are gold to me because that's my work. That is the best thing about being on YouTube. Why am I like this? Why? It's just a tag video, Hannah. Oh my God. All right, let's move on to some lighter fare. Number 8, what is the funniest comment you've ever gotten? I can't think of it. I find it really funny when you guys comment about Sadie and Joe or like things in my life, or when you kind of, I get some really great comments that are like wink wink, nudge nudge, like you're starting to understand the full picture of how silly things can be over here. Those always make me really laugh. The funniest comment I've seen lately on YouTube, though, it was a response to one of my comments on another video. I will tell you about it. Georgia Harris filmed her tag video, and she was talking about how she wants to collaborate with these people who have like a reptile channel, and she was describing their channel and saying that it's about snakes and breeding, and she accidentally said egg breeding. She was like, it's about egg breeding. No, not egg breeding, because obviously you can't breed eggs. It's just like snake breeding so that they lay eggs. I commented on her video that I was going to start a second channel about egg breeding. And then Georgia commented on my comment, my name is Hannah and this is my egg breeding year. And that made me laugh so hard. And I went and read it to Joe, and that made him laugh really hard too. So in recent memory, that is the funniest comment I've ever gotten, even though it wasn't on my video. I'm not sure that story made sense at all, but I will link Georgia's video, and if you watch her video and then read my comment and then read her comment, hopefully you'll understand how funny it is. My name is Hannah, and this is my egg breeding year. All right, question 9. What is the meanest comment you've ever gotten? I think that the meanest comments I've gotten are probably not the same as the ones that have like upset me the most or annoyed me the most. And I don't get that upset, but it's hard not to let certain kinds of comments get in amongst me a little bit. The meanest comments have been things like this is so boring, or like, how many times can you even touch your hair per video, or something. You know, people who are just like directly trollishly criticizing everything about me or my behavior. Those have been probably objectively the meanest ones. But the comments that get in amongst me the most are the ones where people are judging what I'm doing by their own standards instead of being willing to accept my project for what I have defined it as. So for example, I got a couple of comments on the video about how I had already made VIB Rouge at Sephora, where people were like, you're not really on a no-buy if you've spent this much money. Or someone was saying, this is why no-buys don't work. It's because you end up spending your money on other things. And it's just like comments that totally reveal that the person hasn't really heard the intention of my project or processed the intention of my channel and my project. Because my no-buy has worked, and I haven't broken my rules, and I am on a no-buy. I'm on the no-buy that I designed for me to heal myself. And my healing has been so intense, so extensive, so complete in a way that it's painful for me when I can tell that somebody hasn't seen the whole picture and is criticizing one little part of what I've said or what I've done, and is taking that and extrapolating it and using it to smear my whole channel or judge my whole project or something. So those are the things that bother me the most because they make me feel like I'm failing. They make me feel like I've failed to be clear enough, failed to communicate everything wholly enough, and that as a result, somebody's out there thinking that I'm an idiot or thinking that a no-buy won't ever do anyone any good, or you know what I mean? It makes me feel like I've failed at my work, my real work that I'm doing here. And it also makes me angry at the person for being so judgy, but I feel like that kind of goes without saying. Okay, question 10. What other subject matter could you create a YouTube channel about? Poetry. Easy. I've thought about it. I could easily have a channel designed to help people develop a healthy relationship with poems. As someone who wants to champion this art form that I love so dearly and that I know so well, it's my first priority to give people the tools to learn to have a relationship with poetry, to learn to care for it, to feel comfortable with it, because I think there's a lot of fear of poetry out there, especially because it's not taught very well in American schools in particular. I'd like to help reunite people with poems again if they have drifted from reading poetry in their adult lives. So I could totally have a whole channel about that. I don't know if I ever will though. Question 11, why did you start your YouTube channel? The obvious answer is that I started my YouTube channel because I was starting my no-buy year and I wanted to do my no-buy year on YouTube. I felt like it would be a good project to do it on YouTube, and that's true. But there's another part of the answer, which is that I wanted to start a YouTube channel. I had been watching YouTube constantly since right after the election in 2016. It had just become a huge part of my life. And it's hard for me to become part of something like this community, as an observer without wanting to mobilize it into something productive. Like I felt like I'd reached a point where I either needed to stop watching so much YouTube or join the party all the way. And by that, I mean start my own channel. So I chose to join the party all the way. And at the same time, I had been considering starting a no-buy year. And when I realized that I really wanted to do the no-buy and I really wanted to start the channel, it just seemed like a match made in heaven. And 10 months later, here I am. Question 12, what video are you embarrassed by? Like all of the first half. All of the first videos that I made. Once in a while, I click on my very first video for some reason, like if I need to link it in the cards or something. And I'm just like, like my eyebrows, my hair, like I am constantly embarrassed by the videos, all of the videos from like before 2 months ago. I always feel like I've only been getting it right. They've only been half presentable in the past like 6 weeks. And anything before that is embarrassing to me. Like any project, right? We keep evolving. I feel like I've gotten way better at being on YouTube over the year. At the beginning, I don't know. I mean, I don't know because I actually haven't gone back and watched those videos. That's how embarrassed I am about them. I'm sure they aren't total 100% garbage, but I find them very embarrassing, and I find the thought that they are still out there very embarrassing, but I can't take them down because the project it has to stay whole. You know what I mean? Like I have to keep the whole project up on YouTube because it's a record of what I've gone through. And come to think of it, it's also a record of how someone can evolve in terms of her comfort on camera, in terms of her ability to apply makeup for the camera, lighting, editing, all of that stuff. It's a record of the evolution in those areas as well, and I'm okay with that. And I'm well aware that I will probably look back a couple months from now at these videos and be like, Hannah, what were you thinking? You look like garbage trash. Question 13, what video are you the most proud of? I am proud of the ones where I've kind of dug deep into the issues. Those are the ones that make me the most nervous when I'm posting them, the most sick, the most shame. And then they're the ones that I am later the most proud of, which just goes to show that sick shame feeling is often a harbinger of something real happening, something good. It's not all bad. But I think what I want my answer to this question to be is that I'm really proud of my 3 monochromatic looks with the Jaclyn Hill palette video. Tutorial videos, demo videos never get as much views as the other ones, so not as many of you have seen that one as have seen most of my other videos, but I had such a fun time filming those looks, and it's not perfect. I'm not that great. I don't have the best setup for filming makeup application, but it was such a good balance of fun and experimentation and editorial makeup and playing with color. And I have gotten, what feedback I have gotten from that video has been that it's inspirational in this really exciting artistic way, and I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that video. That was a fun one. Question number 14 and the last. What is your first YouTube memory? My first YouTube memories are of tango. Nothing to do with the beauty community, because I just started watching beauty videos again in November of 2016. So that's 2 years ago exactly, actually, because tomorrow is election day. But for a decade previous to that, I have been a tango dancer. I've been studying Argentine social tango. It's the improvisational form of tango, not ballroom. It's not Dancing with the Stars, not the choreographed form. It's the improvisational social form of the dance. And even though it's primarily a social dance, once in a while, tango dancers do perform. It's improvised. So we don't choreograph and then perform choreographed movements to a specific song. What we do is we do the thing that we do when we dance socially, which is improvising the dance together. We just sometimes do it alone on the floor in front of a room full of people watching. And that's what it is to do an Argentine tango performance. So back when I first started, I was so hungry for more information. I wanted to watch people dancing. So it was early 2008. I was living in Washington, D.C., and I had started studying tango with Sharna Fabiano, who is an amazing dancer and teacher, and she is now a very good friend. But at that time, I had just started, I had just met her, and I Googled just to find a tango video of her. Or maybe I even searched on YouTube, I can't remember. In any case, YouTube from its inception has been a place for tango dancers to post videos of themselves dancing. And it's actually been a really amazing vehicle because tango is essentially, in many ways, a folk dance. It's only about 100 years old and it's still growing and changing. So we learn from watching each other. There's no like school that you go to. There's no certificate. There's no master's degree in tango. There's no Bible of it. We're just passing the dance from body to body, from human vessel to human vessel, from spirit to spirit. We're handing it down to each other and handing it out to each other. So to be able to go on YouTube and to absorb that information by watching somebody dance, by watching a performance that happened years ago, by watching a performance of a very famous dancer, by watching a performance of dancers who have since passed away, that is really precious. YouTube has actually been kind of an amazing resource for the Argentine tango community worldwide, and has probably changed and fueled tango really in a palpable way. YouTube has meant something to Argentine tango as it has grown and changed in this century. So yeah, my first memory is of clicking on that video. I was watching Sharna dance with Murat, another friend. I know them both at this point. I've known them both for over 10 years. But then though, it was like this little portal into a magic world that I very, very much hoped that I might have the goods to enter. I will totally link that video down below if I can find it, that early video of Sharna and Murat dancing. If I can't, I'll link some other tango videos so you can kind of get an idea of what I've been talking about. And that, my friends, is it. That is it for my small creator tag. Thank you so much to Hannah at Smoky Glow for creating this tag. I did not anticipate that it would be such an emotional journey, but it was, and it's fine. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll remember to take extra good care of yourself this week so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in